Oh, hi. Welcome to the first What If video, where we'll explore what could possibly have happened if an event in history went just a little differently. The first one's gonna be good, so strap in because we are going to explore what would happen if Ivan the Terrible, Tsar of all Russia, never killed his heir. To start, Ivan Ivanovich, while not a seasoned military leader, was a well-educated man, being the heir of Ivan the Terrible, of course. Furthermore, ascending to the throne after Ivan the Terrible's death would lead to a more stable Russia, both diplomatically and economically. As a result, the times of trouble and succession crises wouldn't have happened, or at least as we know it. Ivanovich's role would lead to strengthened Tsardom, and his leadership could have led to a more centralized Russian state much earlier in history. Under him, it would have resulted in more effective management of Russia's economy and potentially more territorial holdings. As a result, economic and social policies would be more consistent and effective, further promoting Russian stability. He would improve upon his father's policies, addressing issues such as corruption and inefficiency. The Rurik dynasty would have continued from that point on, preventing the Romanovs from taking power. Additionally, it would change the lineage of Russian rulers. Ivanovich would have pursued different foreign policies, altering Russia's relationships in the process. Social policies would be more progressive or less chaotic, benefiting the citizens of Russia. All in all, if Ivanovich survived the altercation with his father, he could have led Russia to a more stable and centralized state. Hey you! Yeah, you! Haven't you heard? I opened up a new Patreon, where you will be able to access my artworks, videos, maps, and even animations early before they're public. Free members can get access to currently existing or past artworks, but there are paid memberships to support me in the future. The first tier is the tip jar, where you tip $3 as a small contribution. None of the benefits that'll be mentioned will be in the tip jar tier, but it serves as a small contribution to my future works. The next one we have is Rookie. Benefits include early access to artworks, additional history maps, works in progress, and doodles, and a personal thank you for your contribution. The second one is the Novice tier. All benefits from the Rookie tier are included, but there are more. Early access to videos, works in progress of my fictional history maps, teasers for upcoming comics and reference sheets, and finally, early access to future animations. Finally, there is the Expert tier, the rank of the highest order. All previous benefits are included, plus the following: your own personal flag or profile picture, a shout out in my next video, and sneak peeks of upcoming Patreon exclusives. So if you have some money lying around, go make it useful and pick the tier you want to select. Links will be in the description. Where were we now? Oh, right! So let's just say that Ivanovich survived the altercation with his father. As I've explained, Ivanovich would ascend to the throne as Ivan V after the Terrible's death. His heir to the throne, Ivan VI, would be born somewhere around 1575. One thing we need to change is Ivan the Terrible's control over Ivan V's wives. One lucky wife would finally give birth to Ivan VI. As a result, maybe the altercation never even happened to begin with. After Ivan the Terrible's death in 1584, Ivan V would ascend to the throne and lead Russia to a more centralized state with a potentially more stable military, resulting in successful campaigns in the expansion of Russian territory. His heir would follow suit when he ascended to the throne in 1604. Ivan V would die at the age of 50. Ivan VI would consolidate the power of Tsardom, centralizing the administration more, and benefiting more of the lives of ordinary Russians. This change in history would lead to cultural, artistic, and economic reforms and a potentially Russian Renaissance period, blossoming further under Ivan VI. Additionally, Russia would begin to expand into Siberia during his reign, strengthening its borders. More focus on economic policies leads to further growth and development of infrastructure. After Ivan VI dies, his son, Fyodor II, ascends to throne. He continues the policies of his predecessors, further maintaining stability and authority within the Russian Empire. His son, Ivan VII, would ascend to the throne in 1685 when Fyodor II died at 85. Ivan VII would do the same thing as his predecessors, leading Russia to westernization and more reforms similar to those undertaken by Peter the Great in our timeline. The Russian military is modernized with new weaponry, leading to more successful campaigns and territorial expansion. By this point, Russia will have made it into Alaska way earlier than in our timeline. Maybe there would have been more efforts to colonize America? And no need to sell it all to the US since they would have emerged victorious in the Crimean War in the 19th century. Maybe. Enlightenment ideas used by successive rulers continue modernization efforts. Russia would form strategic alliances during the Austrian succession and the 7 Years' War. Now let's say Russia sides with Britain. We could see Britain gain Louisiana or some other territories from France after this war. Maybe the Americans would have lost the revolution. Either Paul Revere goes the wrong way, Washington gets hanged at Saratoga, or the revolutionaries demand representation rather than full-blown independence. But at the same time, maybe the idea of revolution and independence could have spread to the Canadian colonies in the Caribbean, eventually joining the United States, or as it's now known in this timeline, the Federal Republic of Colombia. Colombia in South America will be renamed to New Granada or something along the lines of that. Entering the 19th century, Russia would be a major factor for beating Napoleon, gaining more of Eastern Europe after the war. The Industrial Revolution would bring more advanced technology from the West, such as factories and trains, further strengthening and urbanizing Russia. The mid-1800s would see serfdom and inequality addressed by the czars of the 19th century. Serfdom would be abolished earlier than in our timeline, leading to social upheaval and more economic modernization. Thanks to the Rurik dynasty, there are more constitutional reforms. By the 1800s to the end of the 19th century, Russia would expand its influence into Asia. Completion of major infrastructure projects such as the Trans-Siberian Railway facilitates economic integration and military mobility. Entering the 20th century, rising demand for political representation leads to a constitutional monarchy being established, balancing the power of the Tsar. Without the Romanovs, the Soviets would have never risen to power, let alone communism or socialism combined. This would be crucial for the outcome of World War II, since after that, Germany was divided both on the map and ideologically. Without the Soviet Union, Russia would navigate the Cold War period on economic development and diplomatic engagement rather than ideological conflict with the US. Finally, continued political reforms lead to a more democratic government and significant global influence. So all in all, if Ivan the Terrible never killed his heir, Ivan Ivanovich, well, it will be a more fortunate timeline for Russia as in ours, leading to a more stable economy, potentially more stable military, and possibly no Soviet Union, which would be huge in history leading up to that point. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for more random videos I post on here. Woohoo! Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.